All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Wait for some people to come in. Got something I want to share. Hello, everybody. All right. So I want to share something with Facebook. So lately, these past 2 weeks, I have been frustrated with some stuff about the church in particular. And today I come to this adjutant session, and it just blesses my life. And one thing that I want to share from the session is we have a lot of people in church that want to be the chiefs, want to be the heads, want to be the leadership. But nobody wants to be the sons or the servants or those who serve leadership. Nobody wants to follow. Everybody wants to lead. And throughout the week, I had the opportunity to share in a Men of Color symposium, and one of the speakers at the symposium were talking about the difference between hierarchical leadership and linear leadership. Linear leadership meaning that there is a director, but each member of the team has an opportunity to lead. Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. Each member of the team has an opportunity to lead. And there are just some things that some of us are just not mature to handle some things. And so what I've been dealing with is this conversation about maturity. Mature enough to know what you can and cannot handle. And some of us want to handle so much stuff all at one time. We want to handle so much responsibility. We want people to think that we are mature enough to handle things, or we want to be grand. But why can't we just be servants? Why can't we be servants? Why can't we serve first? Why can't we learn how to serve our leaders? Because we cannot lead if we ourselves don't know how to serve. And we must be humble. And humble does not mean being taken advantage of, or talking about yourself in a negative light. Humble means you know your worth enough to serve anyway. Humble means that I am not too bigger than myself or too into myself that I don't know how to serve somebody else. And what I want the people of God to understand is service is our first ministry. Yeah, does that make sense? Service is our first ministry in the concept that we are ambassadors. We are ambassadors in the earth to serve the people. And what I like, and what we've been studying even at Bible study on campus at Claflin University, is this thing about being ambassadors for Christ. And the thing about ambassadorship is I am a representation of heaven because I'm a citizen of heaven, lent here in the earth to be an ambassador for heaven. And so what I say, what I do, how I act is a representation or a reflection of the God that I serve, because I'm an ambassador here in the earth. So it is in servitude. So it is with sonship and daughtership and being mentees and not always being the mentor. And so some of us, right, with my holy garments on, some of us want to be in the head of everything, but we don't know how to serve. We want to be leaders, but don't know how to take orders. We want to give orders. We want to give directives, but we don't know how to take correction. We don't know how to take reproof. We don't know how to be in a position to edify the body of Christ. And we respond or we react to things that don't need a reaction, don't need a response. You know, some things don't need to be responded to or reacted to. And how you respond and how you react to something determines your level of maturity. And so when you are able to determine your level of maturity, you are able then to know where you can lead and where you must serve. So there's just some things that right, leadership is birthed out of servitude. Okay, praise the Lord. Because as I serve my leader, I am a representation. When my leader is not around, and, you know, I say that I go to such and such church, you know, I'm a part of such and such organization, fellowship, what have you. I am now a representation of the leader of that church, of the leader of that organization, of the leader of that fellowship. And how I carry myself is a reflection of my leader. And though my leader might not act like that, I have just given my leader a bad name just because of how I acted. Thank you for giving me it for free. I'll send tithes later. But, you know, I feel as if we have to first learn how to serve. We have to get back to the basics. Get back to the basics. You know, you want to be bishop so and so, overseer so and so, adjutant so and so, but you can't pray. Have no consistent prayer life. You don't fast on a consistent level. You know, you have no leader. You have no accountability to anybody. What happened to the days when we were accountable? What happened to accountability? You know, I have to make a report. I have to notify, you know, my parents. I have to keep them updated about my whereabouts or what I'm doing, or, you know, and even when I go out to preach places, you know, no matter where I go out to preach, my leaders are going to hear about it, and they're going to get a response on if I did well, if I served well, you know, if I was a great reflection of my leaders. And if I dropped the ball, not only have I made a bad name for myself, but the leadership that I serve. And so we have to be very careful how we perceive, how we give off perception. You know, now I am humble. You know, I do understand that there's just some people who are going to think you arrogant. There's just some people who are going to think you high and mighty. There's just some people who are going to have a bad taste in your mouth. There's some people who just going to hate you. And I understand that. Hate on. You do what you do best. But I'm looking for people who are authentic. You know, people who are tired of being beaten up for living right. You know, why every time I go to church, you know, nobody wants to talk about those who are doing right, those who are being righteous, those who are being good servants, because we always want to criticize, but have no solution, don't have no construction. And today, as I was sitting in the session, Pastor Aaron McNear did a teaching, and he was teaching about millennials versus generals, and he did an amazing job. And he talked about what it meant to be a son in this generation. What does it mean to be sons? What does it mean to have fathership, to have spiritual covering? And how do you differentiate being a son, you know, from a perspective, a mature son rather, than a son that just thinks the spiritual father or mother, you know, has this false sense that they're supposed to take care of you, you know, all the time. And there's no service, there's no giving to the leader, no encouragement to the leader, you know, things of that nature. So Pastor Aaron McNear is just wonderful. I mean, he was just at Claflin this week, and I had the opportunity to sit in the session as he taught, and I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot. And, you know, even when it comes to self-identity, self-confidence, and self-worth, I understand that, you know, I understand that there is more to me than what people might say, might suggest, or what I might think that I am. There's more to me than that. And I remember I was preaching a message Palm Sunday, and I said sometimes we don't understand the necessity of the process. The necessity of the process. And though I may be packaged in a way where you don't necessarily know my true identity, my true worth, or whatever, when you finally open the package, when you finally get to know me, when you finally get to understand who I am as a person, as an individual, you understand that I went through far much more than what you thought you had. For example, because that didn't make no sense. Let me use this example. So I preached about ginger mints. Now I'm gonna put this together in just a second. I preached about ginger mints, and I just so happen to be sitting in my car and I have ginger mints. Praise the Lord. You can't go nowhere with stank breath. So get you a pack of ginger mints or something. So I got me some ginger mints. These are ginger mints. These are ginger mints, and they come in a big bag. Then they come in these little individual packets, right? And so when people perceive you, the first thing they see is the big bag, the big package, the big package, the big package. And as you can see, these was $1. It was a blessing to my budget and my bank account. They were $1. What I did not account for is not only are they $1, but it's $1 plus tax. All right, that's first word. You'll catch it in a minute. I'm getting ready to come back around. Then I have to go through the process of opening the big package to get to the little itty bitty package, right? And though from I just want a ginger mint perspective, without being all deep and ritualistic and religious or whatever, if however you want to put it, coin it, my objective is to get to the ginger mint inside the wrapper. But would you have bought the ginger mint? Would you have put the ginger mint in your mouth if it was not wrapped, if it was not packaged, if there was no process to put it together? You know what I'm saying? So you get to the ginger mint, you get to the big package, then you get to the little package, then you put the ginger mint in your mouth or whatever. And so the purpose of a ginger mint is to preserve the voice, regulate your stomach, make sure your stomach's settled, your voice, is good to help your voice, keep your voice like hot water, lemon, honey, put a ginger mint in it, all that good stuff. And we realized that the ginger mint had more to offer us than what it was worth. Though it was $1, it did more for me than what $1 is worth. It kept my voice. And because I'm a preacher, I realized that my assignment also needs my voice. That I need my voice in order to complete my assignment. And so though I paid $1 for the ginger mint, it did more for me to help me keep my voice for my assignment than what I thought it would realize, given that it was only $1. And so my worth, when people see me from a bigger package, they only see what I present as a servant. They only see what I present as service to the Lord, whatever my service is, whether I'm serving my leader, whether I'm preaching the gospel, whether I'm just involved in the worship service. That is, they see me and how I react and how I respond to certain little situations or whatever. They see me. But when they begin to unpack who I am, they then realize that my scars are far much more greater. My scars, my experiences, hallelujah, I like wearing my collar. Anyway, my experiences and my scars are far much more worth than what you perceive. And so when you get to know me, when you get to understand a bit of where my scars come from, or a bit of my experiences, you then begin to understand that my worth is far much more greater than what I've given you in my service. Because not everybody can handle the true you. Not everybody can handle the real you. And as sons, as daughters, can we, or are we responsible enough or mature enough to handle the truth or the realness of our leadership? And are our friends, who we or people we consider friends, are they able to handle who we really are? Are they can we trust people with us? Because us as servants, we cannot be treated any kind of way. And we have to be careful who handles us in this season of our life, in this next season. Yeah, I'm sweating because it's hot in this car. And I got on this collar, and I'm trying to help somebody here, trying to encourage somebody here. And I feel like preaching, but I'm gonna leave that up to the next speaker for the session. But what I really came to encourage you, that true sonship, true daughtership, true you being a child of God, is how well do you serve? How well do you serve? You know? And are you just going to base everything, or are you going to allow people, or even the thought process of people? I know what I want to say. I know how I want to say it. I don't know if it's coming out right. But the point is, with the bigger package, are we giving, basically, let me put it to you this way, because it is on. The air conditioning is on. I just didn't want to put it on high. I didn't know if y'all could hear me or not. But the bigger package gives off this sense of who people expect me to be. But when you are serving, when you're a true son, when you're a true daughter, are you everything that you are supposed to be, as far as a biblical sense? Are you mature? Are you experienced? Are you developed? Are you maturing? Are you going through the process? And sometimes, many times we hate the process, and many times we hate the struggle, but what we must understand is that the struggle is what produces the glory. And yeah, we say it cliche-ish, we say it real cliche-ish and all that good stuff. And, we want to know, why we got to struggle so much. But the struggle produces the glory. But it's not just a cliche. It's not just something we say to help people run, dance, shout, and get happy. But what if in my struggle, I see God, or I realize God is bigger than what I confined him to? And when you know God bigger than what you have confined him to, when you know God bigger than the box that you put him in, when you know God in a little bit more of his mysterious ways through your struggle, you'll understand your worth is more than the dollar that people paid for you in the ginger mint bigger bag. But they had to pay for you, or they understood that you went through a process where not only did I have to pay $1 for the ginger mints, but I had to pay plus taxes and fees. Yeah, I paid plus taxes and fees for the ginger mints. That did all of that, preserving the voice, preserving the assignment that I had. Not only that, but helping me keep going. And so you have to be surrounded by people, or you have to endure the process that's going to preserve you where you are. And sometimes that means you have to be hidden. Sometimes that means, and hidden is a struggle for most people. We hate being hidden because now we feel as if we have to live in the shadows of people. But what if I told you you were not living in the shadows of people? God was just setting you up for something greater. And if he revealed you too early, you might miss or mishandle what God has assigned you. And so that's why sonship is important, because it teaches us not to mishandle our assignment too early. It teaches us not to mishandle the gift that God has given us too early. It gives us the understanding that you have far much more in you than what you think you have. And sometimes the best part about your big reveal, your grand reveal, your coming out party, the best part about it was not the fact that people saw you in your fullness. But the best part about it is you endured a process, you survived a process, you conquered a process that made you who you are. You were made for this. You were made, you were crafted. Your assignment wasn't only tailor-made for you, you were tailor-made for the assignment. And sometimes we have to understand our assignment is not just to kill Goliath. Our assignment is far much more greater than Goliath. Our assignment is to keep the kingdom together. And if we become fathers, if we become kings too early, the kingdom might be divided before its time. Watch it, watch it. Because David understood if I want the kingdom to be together, yes, Goliath is a stepping stone right now, but my assignment is far much more greater than the Goliath that I'm experiencing right now. And so there's more to you. There's more than just the big bag. There's more than just the individual package. It's what you're able to produce when your process is finished. When you've done, and don't think because when you become a leader, when you become a chief, you're done serving, because every chief needs to answer to somebody. Every pastor has a bishop. Every bishop has a bishop, you know, and we must understand that we always have to answer to God. We all have to answer to God. But what I'm producing, my fruit that I'm supposed to be producing, is what qualifies me to be a son, and what qualifies me to be a leader. And it's far more than the bigger package or the individual package, but it's what the packaging, the process of the packaging produce for me to be able to be who I am today. It's a part of the process, and you have to endure the process, because the process makes you better. The process matures you. The process grows you. The process encourages you. The process makes you understand that if I had not gone through all of that, I might have given up everything in my assignment early. But because I stayed in the process, because I kept the process, you know, because I endured the process, I conquered the process, I'm able to be better and do better and become better. And then I can help somebody else, you know, and tell them, if God did it for me, he can certainly do it for you. You know, and I'm not worried about people, what people think or say about me in criticism if it's not constructive. But what I am worried about is the image or the reflection that I give. Can you see Christ in my service? Can you see Christ in how I handle certain situations? Can you see Christ in my maturity? Because age does not give maturity. Age does not give maturity. But are you mature enough? Have you grown? Have you matured? Are you nurtured enough? Paul put it like this: I gave you milk because you couldn't handle the meat. Are we still on the milk, or can we handle the meat? Can we handle what God really wants to give us? Are we able to pass the test? Ask yourself, are you serving to be seen, or are you seen serving? You must ask yourself those questions. Are you a son, or are you a bastard? That's really what you have to ask yourself. These are questions that you have to ask yourself. And I promise you, at the end of thinking about that, whatever the response is, whatever the answer is, whatever that moment of meditation is, whether you come to the senses that you're a true son or you're not a real son, then work on that. If you are a true son, what can you do to become a better son? What can you do to make sure that people not only see Christ, but your leadership understands that you are ready to go to next levels, new heights, that you're able to be released into new facets of ministry? And if you're not at a real son level, what can you do to get there? Motivate yourself. Be confident in yourself. Know who you are. Who are you? Do you know yourself? Do you know your identity? You know, you have to know these. You have to answer these questions. I'm winding down. I know y'all tired of hearing me talk. I wanted to encourage y'all just for a moment. Just for a moment. I want to encourage y'all just for a moment. And then today, I was encouraged. I was encouraged today. And then I'll be back later because I got some more to share. But I love y'all. I know some of y'all love me. Yes, I said some of y'all. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a blessed day. And please keep me in your prayers. Please keep me in your prayers. Don't do one of those Don't do one of those, you prayed for me and you really didn't pray for me. Really pray. If you're going to pray, pray. If you're not going to pray, then don't pray. But I ask that you pray for me. Give me your prayers. Love y'all. Keep it real.